Dear students, today we are going to talk about a very important and very interesting topic of economics, that is Lorenz curve. And in this video we will learn how to calculate the Gini coefficient of Lorenz curve with the help of integration and Lorenz function. So this is the basic focus of our today's video. So let's start and understand the concept of Lorenz curve. Lorenz curve is a graph of income inequality that shows what percentage of country's income is being earned by a percentage of country's population. Here we can see that Lorenz curve is basically a graph of income inequality. So Lorenz curve basically shows the income inequality or relative poverty in a country. So in this, with the help of Lorenz curve, we can see what percentage of country's population has what percentage of share in country's total income. So if the suppose that 10% of the country's population has only 5% share in the national income, then we can say that there is inequality in the society. If 40% of the country's population has only 10% share in the national income, in the same way we can also say that there is less even distribution of the income in the society and more inequality in the society. So to understand the concept of Lorenz curve, let us move to this graph. Here on the x-axis, percentage of population, cumulative percentage of the population has been shown, and on the y-axis cumulative percentage of income has been shown. This is the perfect equality line. This is the perfect equality line which shows that there is no inequality in the society. The x% of the country's population has x% share in the country's income. Suppose 10% of the, if we can see there that 10% of the country's population has same 10% share in the national income. In the same way, we can see here that 50% of the country's population has 50% share in the national income. So we can see, if this is the condition, then we can say that there is perfect equality of the income in the society. But as we know, there is no such society in the world which has perfect equal distribution of the income in the society. So to show the inequality or relative poverty of the income distribution, Max Otto Lorenz has developed the concept of Lorenz curve. With this Lorenz curve, we can see the graphical representation of the inequality. So let us understand this. So suppose we draw a Lorenz curve. Here this perfect line of equality is actually, if we say in geometrical terms, it is 45 degree, which means that it is equally divided between population and income. Now we have drawn a Lorenz curve for country A. This is the Lorenz curve. Okay, what this Lorenz curve actually shows, here we see that if there is no inequality in the society, then 10% of the country's population has 10% share in the national income. But Lorenz curve actually shows that 10% of the country's population has only 4% share in the national income, which means there is inequality in the society. In the same way, if we can see here that 50% of the country's population has only we can say 20% share in the national income. So in this way we can understand that Lorenz curve shows the inequality of the national income distribution. Now as this Lorenz curve is closer to the perfect equality line, there is even distribution of income. If these Lorenz curves move away from the perfect equality line, then there is uneven distribution of the income. let us understand this. Suppose this is the Lorenz curve of country A, and at point X, 50% of the population of country A has only 20% share in the national income. Now let us draw another Lorenz curve for country B, which is nearer to the or closer to the perfect equality line. So here what we see that in country A, 50% of the population has 20% share in the national income, but in country B, 50% of the population has 35% share in the national income, which means there is more equality and more even distribution of the income in the country B compared to country A. As this Lorenz curve moves closer and closer to the perfect equality line, there will be more even distribution of the income and more equality in the country in terms of income distribution. And if we draw another line which is away from the perfect equality line for country C, suppose we can say country C, then we can say that 50% of the population in country C has only we can see 6% share in the national income, which means that 50% of the population, which means we can say that out of 50 people have only 6 rupees in their hand as an income, which means there is no equal distribution of income, more inequality in the society, more uneven distribution of the income in the society C. So as the Lorenz curve moves closer to the perfect equality line, there is more even distribution of the income. As the Lorenz curve moves away from the perfect equality line, there is more uneven distribution of the income. So as the area between the perfect equality line and the Lorenz curve increases, there is more inequality in the society. So by now we have understood what is Lorenz curve and what is the concept of Lorenz curve. It is basically a graphical representation of inequality or inequality, or we can say that relative poverty of countries in terms of income distribution. Now if we represent the relative poverty in terms of statistical form, in terms of mathematical form, then we come to the concept of Gini coefficient. Gini coefficient shows the income inequality in a society in mathematical or statistical form. How can we calculate the Gini coefficient? Let us see. So here we see this is the perfect equality line and this is our Lorenz curve. Okay, so the area between perfect equality line and Lorenz curve has been shaded and it has been depicted as A, and the area below Lorenz curve is shown as B. So the Gini coefficient is calculated. This is the total area. If we call it T and call it S, this is the total area OTS, out of which this is the shaded area which shows the difference between perfect equality line and Lorenz curve, and this is the area below Lorenz curve, area under Lorenz curve. So if we have to calculate Gini coefficient, then Gini coefficient is the shaded area between perfect equality line and Lorenz curve. So shaded area between perfect equality line and Lorenz curve is A. So we put it here A, and oblique total area below perfect equality line. The total area below perfect equality line is OTS, but this area is divided into two parts, shaded area and unshaded area. So if we combine these two area, we get the total area below the perfect equality line. So total area below the perfect equality line is equal to A plus B. Area A, that is shaded area, and the area B, that is unshaded area. If we combine these two area, we get the total area below perfect equality line. With this method we can calculate the Gini coefficient of inequality. Okay, and the value of the Gini coefficient lies between 0 to 1. 0 means perfect equality, and 1 means perfect inequality. 0 means perfect equality and 1 means perfect inequality. The value of if the value of Gini coefficient is closer to 0, then it means that there is more even distribution in the country of income. And if the value is of a Gini coefficient is closer to 1, that means that there is more uneven distribution of income and there is more inequality in the country. So here we can see that the value of Gini coefficient actually depends on the A, that is the shaded area. So if the Lorenz curve is away from the perfect equality line, the shaded area will be more, and if the shaded area will be more, the value of the Gini coefficient will also be more. And if the Lorenz curve is closer to the perfect equality line, the shaded area between the two will be less and the Gini coefficient will also be less, and which means there is more equality in the of the there will be more equality of income distribution in the society. There will be more even distribution of income in the society. So with this we have understood the concept of Gini coefficient. Okay, now let us move to mathematical form. How can we actually calculate the Lorenz curve and Gini coefficient with the help of integration? Now we will derive the formula of calculating Gini coefficient with the help of Lorenz function and integration. Here we see that G is equal to A upon A plus B. A is the area between perfect equality line and Lorenz curve, and B represents the area under Lorenz curve. Okay, and this whole area A plus B is the area under perfect equality line, which means G, O, T and S. Okay, what is the value of this whole area under the perfect equality line? As we know that the value of income lies between 0 to 1. 100% means 100 upon 100 equal to 1, and the population value also lies between 0 to 100, which means 100 upon 100 1. So this area of this whole square becomes length into breadth. Length is 1 and breadth is also 1, equal to 1, and the area under the perfect equality line is equal to half of this whole area, which means 1 upon 2 into 1 equal to 0.5. So which means that the area under the perfect equality line, that is A plus B, equal to 0.5. So we can put the value A plus B equal to 0.5. Now if we put the value A plus B equal to 0.5 in the equation 1, we get G is equal to A plus A upon 0.5, and 0.5 G is equal to A, or G is equal to 2A, which means the value of Gini coefficient is twice the value of area between perfect equality line and Lorenz curve. This is the equation number 2. Now here in this equation, A plus B equal to 0.5. If we move this B from this side, we get A is equal to 0.5 minus B. If this multiply this whole equation with 2, we get 2A is equal to 0.5 into 2 minus 2B. 2A is equal to 1 minus 2B. 2 is equal to 1 minus 2b. So what we have got here? We have got that g is equal to 2a equal to 1 minus 2b. So if we multiply the area under the perfect equality line, area between the perfect equality line and Lorenz curve with 2, we get the Gini coefficient. Or if we apply the formula 1 minus 2b, which is b is the area under the Lorenz curve, then we can get the Gini coefficient out of it. Okay, now put this value in the integration form. So g is equal to 1 minus 2 integration 0 to 1 integration of Lorenz function, that is Lx dx. Lx dx. This is the formula by which we can calculate the value of Gini coefficient with the help of integration and Lorenz function. We can further improvise this formula as 2x minus Lx dx. We can either use this formula or this formula to calculate Gini coefficient with the help of integration. So we have these two formulas. Please note this down. And now we are going to solve some mathematical problems based on this Lorenz function. Now let us solve a mathematical problem to clearly understand how to calculate Gini coefficient with the help of Lorenz function and integration. Here we are given with the problem that if Lorenz function is I is equal to x square, then calculate the area under Lorenz curve. Number B, calculate the Gini coefficient. First of all, let us understand this Lorenz function. What this actually tells? It tells that if a particular if there is a particular percentage of population, what will be its share in the national income. Suppose here the equation is given as I is equal to x square. I shows the percentage share in national income, x shows the percentage of population. So which means that value of I and x always lies between 0 to 1. Okay, so if we put the value of suppose we want to know what will be the percentage share of national income if the population is 40%. Okay, so here we have assumed that x is equal to 40%. X is equal to 40%. 40% means 0.4. So what will be the share of national income of 40% population? We want to calculate this. So we will put the value 0.4 in this equation. I is equal to 0.4 square. I is equal to 0.4 square means 0.16, which means 16%. According to this Lorenz function, we have got to know that 40% population will have 16% share in the national income. Likewise, if we want to calculate what will be the share of 50% population in the national income, so we will put the value of x is equal to 0.5 or 50%. Here in this equation, after putting the value of 0.5 for x, we will get 0.25, which means 25%. It shows that 50% of the population has 25% share in the national income. With this, so we can now understand what this Lorenz function actually shows. Now let us come to our basic problem which we are going to solve. Now First of all, we have been asked to calculate the area under the Lorenz curve. What will be the area under the Lorenz curve? The area, to calculate the area under the Lorenz curve, we have to area under the Lorenz curve, as we have seen earlier, b is equal to integration 0 1 and integration of this function x square dx. X square dx. If we can integrate this function, we will get the area under the Lorenz curve, that is x cube upon 3. That is x cube upon 3. This is the area under the Lorenz curve, and area under the Lorenz curve, and value of it lies between 0 to 1. So we want to calculate the area under the Lorenz curve. So we will put the value of x is equal to 1 and then minus it with the lower value. So x, after putting the value of x is equal to 1, we get 1 upon 3. This is the 1 upon 3 is equal to 0.33. This is the area under the Lorenz curve. Now, if we want to calculate, we have got the area under the Lorenz curve, that is 1 upon 3. If we want to calculate the Gini coefficient, we will have to apply the formula G is equal to 1 minus 2 integration 0 to 1 Lx dx. Lx, what is Lx? Lx is this Lorenz function, which means x square. So 1 minus 2 integration 0 to 1 x square. As we have already integrated this particular formula earlier, so we will get this value is equal to 1 minus 2 into 1 upon, the integration value of this whole integration is 1 upon 3, as we have seen earlier calculation. So we will get 1 minus 2 into 3 is equal to 1 upon 3 is equal to 0.33. So the Gini coefficient is G is equal to 0.33. So in this way we can calculate the value of Gini coefficient with the help of integration and Lorenz function. I hope you have understood the whole topic, and if you have any query and any questions, you may ask in the comment box. Okay, thank you very much.